We're not going to accept mediocrity. We're not going to accept not getting it done on the floor. Latch on to the back of the bandwagon because things be changing here in the Bay Area.
17 years in the league, and over that time you moved around to a number of different teams. In part, I think because a good floor general is hard to find. And also one of the things I thought about when you were playing was I thought people undervalued you because you weren't the flashy guy. You think that's fair?
I think it's very fair. And one of the things I'm most proud of in my 17-year career, playing for 7 teams, I played for 3 teams twice. A lot of times in this league and in life, when you have somebody that works for you, you never want them back once you let them go. For those teams that say, we made a mistake, we want them back, it shows you that I brought something to the table that at times was taken for granted. But I played at great places, played for great coaches, great organizations, and great teammates that helped me be able to play for a long time. I don't take that for granted.
You mentioned about going back twice. The great example of that is in the mid-90s, Indiana trades you to Denver. Well, the start of the season, Indiana is now out of the playoffs. They go from being a playoff team to a non-playoff team. And Donnie Walsh says, okay, I made my mistake. I'm getting Mark Jackson back. He gets you back at the deadline. I don't think you guys got in, but you got better toward the end of the year. And it also started probably the glory years of the NBA part of the Pacers franchise.
Absolutely did. And Donnie will tell you a mistake was made. Like you said, the things I do on the floor are not going to show up on the stat sheet. I'm not a guy that's going to get you 25 and score up a bunch of points and put pressure on the defense, but I am a guy, or was a guy, that was going to be a maestro. I was going to be an extension of the coach on the floor. I was going to be a leader. I was going to control the locker room. I was going to make sure that guys were held accountable on and off the floor. And that's something that they realized was missing by the time they got me back. Also, one thing is we had Larry Brown as our coach, a Hall of Fame coach, but a guy that can at times, beat you up mentally.
Especially point guards.
Yeah, and we lost the fact that I was sort of like the psychiatrist. I'd see him beat a guy up in practice or in a game situation, and I'd pull that guy aside and pump him back up, get his swagger back. And they didn't have that, and because of that, wound up losing a bunch of games early. By the time they got me back, it was too late. But the great thing was it helped propel a great pace of run years on.
And later on, Larry Bird takes over as head coach. Rick Carlisle is the assistant. Chris Mullin's on this team. Reggie Miller's on this team. Veteran center Rick and Smith is on that team. And yet Reggie says that you're the one directing the huddle.
We were fortunate enough to have great veterans. And the thing I loved about Larry Bird was he understood what he could and couldn't do. Instead of trying to come there and covering up his flaws by trying to take over everything, he said, Rick Carlisle, you take care of the offense. Dick Harder, you take care of the defense. And he allowed the veteran leadership to run the basketball team and gave us opportunity to have a voice. And success came because of his willingness to be hands off.
When you talk about the Pacers in that run, it ends up with an NBA Finals appearance. And many players who are great in college don't get to a Final Four. Many NBA players who are great don't get to an NBA Finals. And yet here you are playing in that. You guys didn't win. But just getting there, I think, is a tremendous accomplishment.
And from day one, when Larry Bird got there, he said, hey, you guys have had success, individually and collectively. But the one thing you have not had is an opportunity to go to the NBA Finals. He says, I want to make sure that Chris Mullin, Reggie Miller, Mark Jackson don't leave this game without an opportunity to go to NBA Finals, because it's a whole different level. Even from the Eastern Conference Finals, it's a different level when you look at the media coverage, when you look at the attention paid. And he didn't lie, because once we got to the finals, the first practice, watching the media, the cameras, the microphones, the coverage was absolutely incredible. And it was an experience that each one of us embraced to this day.